Okay, welcome back, students. In our previous segment, we were looking at how we set up the multi-leader style, and we want to now start using the style to put in these specifications. Now, one thing you should know about specification is that a specification, and you should be encountering with a lot of specification because you're doing building measurements. But one thing you have to remember when you're putting in specification, your specification must have three important things. And if you do that, you don't have to try and memorize the specification. Because once you put in these three things, you would have called out everything in your specification. And those three things are: one, it must have quantity, so it tell how many. Two, dimension, which is the size. And the so we have quantity, size, and quality or workmanship. So let's see if we can see all three things inside this specification up here. Right? It says 12 millimeter. Well, that's one already. That's dimension or size. Mild steel bar. That's quality or workmanship. It's telling you the quality is not just any steel. It's not them steel that you use to make grill work. It's mild steel bar. So that's two. As wall bars at 400 center. So again, we're having a dimension. And it's telling you the workmanship here, so which is 136. Now this one did not have any quantity in it because in this specification you would not tell how many. Well, you basically give some form of quantity when you say that it is every 400. So it's just that it didn't tell you how many steel it will take because, of course, the length of the wall will determine that. But you still have some amount of quantity because you're telling that it's happening at every 400. In other words, it's happening at every other block pocket. So we have the things called out there. Let's take another one down here. So this, you notice, is pointing to the steel here. So it's saying 3, which means how many? That's 1, 2, 3. The horizontal bar is going along the trench. 12 millimeters is the size. Mild steel bars, the diameter, mild steel bar, that's the quality. And 10 millimeter, that's this one now, the link. So it's telling you the size, diameter, links at 250. That's how far apart the dimensions in 124 concrete mix. That's the workmanship or the quality of the concrete. So once you can describe, when you're doing your specification, once you have described all those things, then you would have captured all the things that you need in your specification. So you don't have to try and memorize what these things are. All right. So if you know that, if you see all of those things, then you know that the thing would have been properly specified. All right. So let's look at how we put in our multi-leader style now, calling out these three things. I'm going to start with the very top one up here, which is the wall bar. Okay. So back to the AutoCAD screen. All right, so there we are. So back again on our annotate tab, leaders panel, the very first icon is called multi-leader. Your shortcut for this one is MLD. So MLS was the multi-leader style, but the shortcut for multi-leader now is MLD, or you click on that. So we type MLD, that's multi-leader or M leader, and enter. So I'm going to turn off my ortho now so that my line is not forced to be vertical or horizontal. Then I'm going to use nearest O snap, and anywhere I click first will represent where the point of the arrow would be. So I click. And as I pull away, if I'm too close, the arrow is going to disappear. But as soon as I pull out, I'm going to pull somewhere about here, right? And click. So remember, when we set up our style, we said that it should be 2 constraints. So the first one would have been where you click, that's one, and then the next click, second constraint. And you notice as soon as you make a second click, it's ready now to receive the text, which is the content. So, and that is 12 Now this time I'm going to turn off my caps lock because I want command letters. MM. So spacebar this time is not going to work like spacebar. So you put the space now. So it's 12 mm, and then no, we want the symbol for diameter. So you can either use the icon up here, or you could type the code, which is percent %C for diameter. So instead of clicking on this, if you wish, you can do it, but you can just go ahead and just type %, and as soon as you type the C, it is going to turn it into the diameter symbol. Let me zoom in a little bit more on it so you can see it better. So it is 12 mm space %C for diameter, and then MSB for mild steel bar as wall bars, and I'm going to press enter so that I go to line 2. So 12 millimeter diameter mild steel bar as wall bar. Then I'm going to say at. How far apart now? Now, when you press the space bar, it's always going to think that this symbol is a bullet point. So when you press space, usually it jumps over as if it's a tab. All you have to do is just press the backspace once, and it will jump back to where it should be, right? So you press the space bar, it always operate like a tab because it takes the at symbol as a like a bullet. It pretends as if it was a bullet point. So when you press space bar, it thinks you want a tab to indent. So just press the backspace once to go back there. So at 400, and I'm going to type CRS, which means centers, in 1, 3, 6 mixed concrete. CONC, full stop. Good. And that basically would represent what that one should be. So 12 mm diameter mild steel bar as wall bars at 400 centers. 400 centers would be approximately every other block pocket. So when you finish typing, all you need to do is click outside of the text area. Don't press enter. It's going to go to line 3. So just click anywhere outside of the area, and it will be a scan. So if you notice now, the landing, which is that short horizontal line, which we said would be 3 millimeter. Of course, it would not be 3 if I type D, I enter here on screen because it's this full scale. So from here to here would not be 3. It would be 3 times 20. So full scale, it is 60. But remember that by the time it prints 20 times smaller, it comes back down to 3. So all those settings were made there for a reason. So you need to remember that when you're doing this now, the annotation should still be on 1 in 20, which is what we were using for the title. So I didn't have to say it again because I know that you should remember that because it was set before. All right, so we're going to do another one, a multi-leader. And this time I'm going to call out the wall. So I'm going to click here arbitrarily. And this time it is going to be the block wall, which is 150 mm thick block wall. All right, good. Now, just in case it is not in the right location, now we're going to look at how we align all of them later on so that they line up nicely somewhere out here. But for now, I'm just going to arbitrarily just move it to create some space. You can grip it right here and stretch it to reposition it anywhere. So I'm going to drop it somewhere off here for the time being, just to give some room to create the other one here. So I'm going to create again another one for the floor. So this time I'm going to click on top of the floor with my nearest O snap, and I'm going to click somewhere off here, and then I'm going to type the specification in now, which is going to be 300, and I'm using letter X for the times, by 300. Of course, we know that's millimeters, so we don't always have to put it in. So this is ceramic floor tiles. I'm going to press enter now to go on next line. Laid, LAID, on 25 mm thick, 1 3 mix screed. All right. So that's the tile now that is going to be on top of the floor screed. 1 3 mix. All right, good. That's 3 rather. We have another one here. Now the one that I want here and there, you notice I don't want any multi-leader for this one. I don't want any multi-leader for the hardcore as well as the floor slab. But I'm gonna start with it and then we look at how you remove it. So we're gonna put it in as if a multi-leader should be there. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just copy and paste this time around. And then I will just modify the text to say 150 millimeter thick, 124 concrete mix floor slab. All right, so I'm gonna copy an existing one up here and paste it down there and paste it here. And then we just double click edit and then afterwards we will remove the leader just to show you how you would basically do something like that. All right, so let's go back to AutoCAD. All right, so instead of typing it again, I'm going to select this time a previous one. So I'm selecting the one with the 150 and I'm launching the copy command. And then I'm going to click somewhere off here and paste it somewhere off here. It will be 2 rows, so I'm putting it kind of closer to the top. All right, good. And then now, to remove the leader, let's look at how you do that. Or we could type the information first and then remove it afterwards. So let's type the information. So to change the text that is here, we just double click on it. So double click. So again, this is also 150 millimeter thick, 150 millimeter thick floor slab. Check out this floor slab in 1 2 4 concrete mix. All right, so that's the specification for the floor slab. 150 millimeter thick floor slab in 1 2 4 concrete mix. Of course, you could have BRC and all those things you can call out in this specification as well if you're going to put it in, or JRC, which is the reinforced fabric that goes inside there. You could have that too, but I'm not going to bother put that in. So I'm going to click outside once I finish typing, but I don't want the leader. And if I wanted the leader, I could click on it and I could grab this point and point it to here. But I don't need to because it is right beside the dimension. So we know that basically it goes for this area here. So let us now look at how you could remove it since we don't want. And of course, if you press delete, enter, the whole thing is going to go because it is a part of it. So I'm going to undo that. You enter. So it's not delete. We're going to delete that because this and this is a part of the same, right? It's the same segment, just a part of it. So what we want to do now is to look at how you remove it. So if you go to the ribbon, you will notice there's an option on your leaders panel that says remove leader. So once I click on remove leader, basically it's asking me to select the multi-leader. The first click basically is to select which item you want to edit, which is this one. So no matter if you click on the measurement, which is the text, or the arrow, because they are both one. So if I select this, I've just selected that multi-leader. But the second click is important. I must select the leader and then press enter. So the first click was just to select the item. But the second click now is to click on the leader itself, which is the arrow, and then press enter. And there it goes. All right? Good. So now we're going to copy this one and paste it below. So let me copy that. And let me turn on my ortho to get it exactly or lined up I'm going to drop it somewhere down here to be 2 rows of text as well. All right, and then I'm going to edit this one now by typing in the specification. So that I'm going to double click on it, and this one is hardcore, and this time it's going to be, first you would spread it out, so spread, then you would basically level, and compact. So you spread it out, you level it out, and you compact it in a maximum of 150 millimeters. 150 millimeter layers. Good. And then I can erase all of the rest of what was there. So it should read hardcore, spread, level, and compact in 150 millimeter layers. Okay, need a space right there. Good. Click outside. All right. So that concludes that portion. Well, we need two more. One under here for the calling out of the steel and the concrete. And then one over here for earth. Let's do the one for the earth first over here. So again, I'm going to go back to Alt Leader, and then I'm going to pick in the area where the earth is and pull, turn off my ortho because I want that an angle. Pull this way and click, and notice the attachment is now on the left. Before it was on the right. So I'm going to type EARTH, and as soon as I click out in space, you notice again the landing is in the middle of the line. Right? Now you have the option to add leaders to So if you wanted more than one arrows, you could click add leader, and if you click on this, notice it puts it on this side, or if you're on this side, it jumps on this side. So you can have any amount. You could be pointing to this, you could be pointing to something else, you could point to any amount of item, right? Anyway, I'm gonna escape. I don't want any more. So just to show you, it's called multi-leader because you could add. Now the way how it will remove, again, the same as before. You click on leaders, then you select that, and then you proceed to select the ones you want to remove. So it will be 1, 2, 3, enter, and those gone. Okay. All right. So let's put in our last specification now, which this time it will be calling out two steel plus concrete, calling out the steel going on horizontal in the trench, as well as this one here, the links, and the concrete. Now somebody might be wondering, how comes the donut start looking like a octagon? It's still a circle, but what happened is that the software will not all the time keep refreshing the screen because it slows down the machine. So even though it looks like a octagon or a polygon, it will not print with sides. It will still be circular. It's just a display thing. But if you're not comfortable with it and you don't like to see it, all you have to type is RE for regen, which means refresh. And you press enter, basically it will smooth it out. But whether or not it looks like that, it will not print like that. It's just a display issue. If every time you pan and zoom, the software had to keep refreshing the screen, then the software will be using up a lot of your RAM or graphics card resources, and then it will slow down the software. So from time to time, you will zoom in on some objects and you will see it look like it's not a circle. It looks like a polygon with sides. It is not. It's just a display issue. If you were to print it, you would still see it as smooth as ever. All right, so great. We're going to move on now by adding in so before I put in the leader, I'm going to put a circle, and that circle is going to touch the links. It's going to go around the steel, and it's going to touch the concrete. So I'm going to call out all 3 items, which is why I'm going to draw a circle. So C, enter, and I'm going to snap about the center of this here and pull. I'm going to make the radius about 50, right, for the circle. All right, so once I carry the multi-leader to touch the circle, it means that anything that the circle is touching will be called out. It's touching the steel, it goes around this steel, and it would be touching the concrete as well, because the concrete is all of in here. So I'm calling out all three items one time. So multi-leader, and I'm going to make sure ortho is not on. My nearest O snap is on, so I'll click somewhere on the circumference of the circle and then pull out. If you're too close, of course, you know the arrowhead will disappear. So we're going to pull out far enough. I'm going to pull somewhere about, maybe about here, right? And I'm ready to type. Zoom in on it so you can see what's going on. So it will be 3 dash 12, which is the size, so the amount, which was 3, 12, which is the size, mm, then I put the space, and then again I'm going to put percent C, so percent, and as soon as you put the C, you're going to get the diameter symbol, then space, so diameter MSB, which means mild steel bar, and 10 millimeter diameter, so percent C again. All right, so this is again MSB as LINKS as links at how far apart my links are going, 250 mm CRS, which means centers in 1, 2, 4 concrete mix. Good. Now click in empty space. So it's 3 12 millimeter mild steel bar diameter, mild steel bars, diameter mild steel bar at and 10 millimeter MSB diameter mild steel bar as links at 250 millimeter centers in 1, 2, 4 concrete mix. So that will be all of this. All right. Now what we need to do next is this. I want to have all of these multi-leader, the content of them, lining up in a straight line coming down, like that. So basically, I'm going to be guided by these that are already in place, right? So I'm going to use this as the alignment, right? All right, so I'm going to start with that. We're going to be looking at how you align to get all of them lining up like a margin, left a margin, left margin. So to do that, you have the option up here. You notice this line is beside them to the right, right? So if I were to select the align option, and then no, I'm going to select all those that I want to align first. That will be 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to align all 4 of them, and then I'm going to press enter. So once I've chosen what I want to align and I press enter, then no, I need to select the object or the other multi-leader that I want to align it to. So I'm going to select one of these 2 over here. I'm going to select this one. Okay? And then all I need to do now is turn on my ortho. I come in over here and then pull straight up. You notice, or pull straight down. Want a vertical line. Once I click, it's going to stretch them and have all of them coming down in a straight line. Right? So it's align, Let me undo that just once more, just in case somebody missed it. So at first they were going all over the place, and now we want to align it. So we go to align, and we select 1, 2, 3, 4, because these two are already aligned down. Because remember, we did one and we copy it with the ortho on, and then we press enter, and then select the one that you want to align it with. So whether the top one or the one below, it doesn't matter. And then now you want to turn on your ortho so that it will align along that straight line, and they pull straight up or straight down, and click, and it will pull them. So it will stretch this, stretch that, stretch. All of them still have their landing, 3 millimeter landing, 3 millimeter landing. All of them still have it. All of them still have them. Right? So you notice all of that is still happening. And that basically concludes. Now, if you remember a feature I spoke about earlier that talk about the if you are using the the block option, you notice, look at the preview. The preview for this one, it has the circles. So you notice 1, 2, 3, but they are lined up. They're all over the place like that. So they're just showing you how the leader thing works. But I'm not. That's not what I'm drawing to your attention now. If you remember, I told you that you could have M text, which is what we have, the text following the landing. But you could also have a circle with the numbers in it, and then now you could have a table that says 1, 2, 3, and you will tell the name of each of those items, so that the drawing doesn't look very crowded. So mechanical drawing tends to have more of that kind of that system rather than, but in building drawing, we tend to put out the information directly against the landing. So it points to it and it tell you whatever information you want. All right. So that is why that was done. All right. So let's continue. All right. So basically, that would now conclude what the footing detail would consist of. Everything else is already in. We have our dimensions, we have our hatch, we have our reinforcement, we have in our multi-leader, we have in our title. So if you compare that to what we have just worked with from the worksheet, you will notice that we would have had. Now, this 300 is not a part of the thing. All I put it for is just for instructional purpose, to say we're going to offset this line up to here so we could stop the wall at a point. The wall doesn't stop there, it continues up. That's what the symbol represents. So this was just measurements or for information purpose, not for the purpose of putting on the dimension. So I'm not putting that one. Just those dimensions that we're putting already and the multi-leader. So that would conclude that. So our next drawing that we are going to start, we won't finish it today, of course, because the time that we have left is not enough time to do that, but we're going to start it. So we're going to do a roof plan, and the focus will be the hip roof, not the gable roof. I'll just talk about the gable roof. That's too easy, so we're not going to do it. So we're just going to talk about that one. We're going to do the hip one. All right. So just to use up the time that is left to talk about the roof, and that is now to, or what I should do is, let me go back to the previous slide, and I will stop the recording and start a new recording for this.